PC. I apologize right now. Uh, Welcome back um, to the stream. Um, I think everything is good. I hope
James is listening and he can hear you.
James can hear me.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Uh,
James.
Thank you, James. I appreciate. Um,
We should name the watermelon James.
Let me eat it.
okay, so now I'm not broad- won't broadcast the windows. Oh my god. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
What's happening?
I can't get to broadcast the camera windows because I think Skype is hijacking my video camera. The way Hangouts was.
That makes sense.
Okay, so I'm just gonna paint and we're gonna talk. And that's it. Just because yeah, this is it's a little too much right now. It's been 40 minutes and I appreciate everybody who's been super patient about with this stream.
Do you have like a little mini window?
Uh,
Like my Skype has a little mini window of what's being broadcast of whoever's speaking.
yeah, no, yeah, and I do too, but it's OBS is has a should have a fixed feed on my web camera, so there should at least be a picture of me on the stream right now, and
I just didn't know if it was possible to move that little mini window.
no, I can't. It's just floating.
Oh, I can actually move mine. Interesting.
Oh no, yeah, I can too. All right, all right, so. Alright, but now it's just showing the icon in your head. So I think Bill has to actually talk.
Correct.
Hi. What do I talk about?
I don't
You want
know.
me to talk?
The watermelon you're eating, maybe? Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Well, I was hungry on the way home. I figured I would eat a watermelon.
Alright. I'm gonna open this Hermes file because let's start painting.
Oh, now I'm seeing two Skype windows.
Um, okay, I can't find the file. Oh my god, I'm a hot mess. Oh jeez.
So what are we doing? We're doing Hermes?
Yeah, I'm painting Hermes. Maybe my scanner folder. I'm painting Hermes, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's coming out pretty cool. You know, for an Eli painting.
Yeah, I mean, considering.
Yeah. But I'd love to show you guys, but I'm having a hard time locating the file. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. Sorry, I gotta talk to a guy about a Switch.
I'm going to eat this entire watermelon on TV.
And tomorrow you'll have melon babies.
I'm hoping it avoids hangover.
Does it actually?
He's hoping. He's hoping. This is an experiment. Okay.
There you go, man. Put the body to the test.
All right. Okay, so all right, Hermes is up. Thankfully, at least that's working. And shoot, all right, we had like 5 or six false starts, like that sentence.
I was just about to make that joke.
But you know, because technology. But yeah, I think we're we're good to go. For the most part, it's not perfect, but thank you for coming. We're going to start introductions again. My name is Eli Manaya. I am the illustrator on Judgment of Paris, now a Kickstarter. We have with us Mr. Bill Ubling. Say hi.
Hi.
And we have Toby, our moderator.
Hello, chaps and chapettes.
And some guy, I don't know if we have any of my old regulars in the stream today, but Toby was my co-host of my weekly show before things got really hectic with work. So anybody listening who used to listen to the show, welcome back. Sorry that we disappeared. Well, things got crazy. Working on books and freelancing, and Toby's got
Moving.
a lot. Yeah, moving.
Like,
Yeah,
careers and everything like that. Yeah.
It just got really nuts. But we're happy to be back, and we're happy to have Bill with us here, who is the author, the writer for Judgment of Paris. And we're gonna.
Homer was the writer.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean. The transcriber.
I interpreted the story.
Yeah,
I changed the story to serve my own political ends.
Right.
You're the mind wizard.
That's right.
He's Homer's ghostwriter. So, we're gonna field questions about the story. We're gonna do giveaways. We have early prototypes to give away from the book. That's a picture of us enjoying the wonderful story. And there's another picture of us, a picture of Bill holding up the books we're gonna give away, which are not these. Those are for the Kickstarter. Yeah, we're gonna be giving those away, and they'll be signed by both Bill and I. God, that is a disgusting sound, Bill. Oh, come on, we're gonna lose viewers. Like,
Yeah, but you'll gain a different kind of viewer.
True. That channel on Twitch of the young Asian girl eating is very popular. We could totally pivot and just make this about Bill and his watermelon. The watermelon
videos of people just like brushing their hair for 5 hours on YouTube.
Yeah, that stuff. And for anybody curious, Bill has indeed named the watermelon James, so we refer to it as James from now on.
Because he's already pledged, so we can make fun of him now.
Yes.
Don't drop James.
Don't tell him he can drop. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna be painting, and so we're gonna kind of do a little do-over. We had started talking about the chat is starting to react to the watermelon. That's
The
great.
freaking icons are amazing.
It's awesome. So I'm mostly gonna be painting. We're gonna.
I'm just gonna be staring out the window.
Yeah, it's kind of what you.
It's your author face.
I need to drink more for that.
All right, well, get cracking.
We'll get that.
The Hemingway face.
I have a very small bottle of tequila. I will be taking advantage of later on in the stream. If I start drinking now, I won't paint. Not that I'm painting right now, so I'm gonna get cracking. But Bill, tell us about the blizzard of 13. What were you feeling
it was
that day?
really, really cold.
Yeah.
And it was 3 days without power, I think. And we had to find ways to entertain ourselves. So Eli and I swapped stories that we knew that were good. And I explained the story of Judgment of Paris in a pretty unfiltered kind of way. It was such a good story that we decided to try to capture it in some way. So we pitched ideas back and forth, talked about maybe a comic book, talked about, whatever we could in order to get it out.
We actually, we did. I started kind of thumbnailing the comic book. I found that sketchbook a little while ago. I'm gonna post pictures of that on the Kickstarter as part of an update. Looks like Anna Bay has a question. A few people have a question.
She wanted to know what you were working on
Yeah.
on screen.
Yeah, so this is Hermes. This is a Hermes. So we have a lot of programmers in chat today. So and they may not be immediately familiar with my work. Our work's a little more abstract. Let's see if we can bring up some additional work from the Kickstarter. So you guys have a better frame of reference or expectations as to what my work looks like. For those who haven't seen it
they've
before.
all seen the Kickstarter at this point.
Say that again?
I said I bet they've all seen the Kickstarter at this
Right.
point.
I'm bringing up the collection of paintings on my website. So just to give you guys just a little more context about my work, it's a little more abstract than you're probably used to seeing. Anyways, oh, not a programmer. It's morning here in Australia. Good to know. Good morning. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate that.
Hope your day goes well.
Yeah, it's early evening here. So hence why everybody's mostly drunk. Oh, not me. Sorry.
You don't judge me how I start my days.
I was dragged here. Okay. Steve. Thanks, Steve. Welcome to the stream, and thanks for being a good painter. We were hosting you for a little while. Thanks for stopping in. And yeah, we're streaming again for the Kickstarter. Talking about the myth, the legend, Bill Eblin himself. All right, so that's my work, at least some of it anyway. This stuff is specifically for the book project that includes Judgment of Paris. A lot of these are available as prints and backer rewards through the Kickstarter, which I'm sure some of you guys have seen. So let me get that off the screen so we can get back to Hermes. So the Hermes painting is actually very, very, it's very early on. I wanted to get it to a point where you guys could see, some actual painting and not just like the finishing touches, but not early enough that you're just looking at, squiggles, even though it's kind of where we are right now. So yeah, I will let you guys, Bill, sorry I interrupted you with the answering the question, but please continue. The Blizzard.
Oh, so the Blizzard. So we swapped stories back and forth, settled upon Judgment as something we wanted to really dig into, and Eli started thumbnailing important aspects of it, while I sort of started to write just the essence of the story that I could extract from it. And if I recall, Eli, what we were actually trying to do at the time, I was trying to convince you to just paint the famous Judgment of Paris.
Right.
Because that's like a passage for many, many artists.
Yeah, but none that I care about, so yeah, it's okay.
And then it got too cold when it got dark, so we got in my car and drove to Providence.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah. Lost a lot of fish in that blizzard.
Yeah, I remember that. I almost lost my feet.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
No, seriously, like I was wearing, I wasn't prepared for a blizzard, and so I threw on like 3 pairs of like my dress socks because I was lecturing at a school and doing a show, and so I just threw on 3 pairs of dress socks, and it just completely, I was like, man, my feet are just getting colder. I don't know why. just turning blue. It's just ridiculous. Oh man, good time.
So, do you want to talk about maybe why we chose Hermes? So, one of the interesting parts about the Judgment of Paris is that Hermes actually plays a very small role in the standard myth. And we decided to increase Hermes' role to be sort of an influencer over Paris, to show Hermes' sort of dark side, right? Because he's not only the god of travelers, he's also the god of thieves and misfortune. So we decided to make Paris a sort of sympathetic figure, right? He's just too human. He can't resist this gamble of the goddesses. So we chose Hermes because he's this liminal figure. He's a god in the shadows, and he's always doing the thing that will, annoy Zeus the most. So we went with Hermes for those reasons, and we got to Hermes as the sort of messenger god, which is how he got the job of bringing this gamble from Olympus to the mortals. And so, Eli, you can talk maybe about some of the elements in your art that have that sort of those features.
No, Bill. No, I can't.
There's also the guitar image.
We hid a guitar in the book. It's an Easter egg. If you guys can find it, we'll send you something, a print, or we'll figure something out. But we hid a guitar in the book. If you can find it, you are officially our #1 reader, and we will send you a prize.
We also hid typos. Those were on purpose.
The typos are only in the prototypes they were giving away today. By the way, no, the final Kickstarter version will not have typos. Hopefully, promise. Now I'm nervous about typos. Thanks, Bill. Shit.
So do you guys want me to stop talking and just watch?
Well, I mean, if anybody's got questions, about what they can expect from the Kickstarter, or about the story, about Greek mythology in general, I think Bill's our resident expert. And if you find a typo, we got a question here. Yeah, if you, I like this interaction. Like, Mighty Chan 104 goes, if I found a typo, what do I win? And Bonovich goes, more typos. And I think that's we're gonna leave it right there.
Well, I'll give Mary a gift next time I see her.
But yeah, we absolutely wouldn't mind some questions if you have any. Otherwise, let's give it a couple minutes, and maybe we'll do our first giveaway. We'll figure that out. How about? All right, so I was hoping to have my web camera working so that I could show you guys. The prototype itself.
Watermelon.
Or Bill, do you have one at your place?
I do.
Yeah, you hold it up. You're actually on camera.
Now I have to do the thing that I said I wouldn't do on camera.
Oh God, no. Okay, never mind. Don't get up. That was terrifying. Oh my God.
It's like when someone has to go to the bathroom in an airport. It's like, oh God, don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Oh,
okay,
shit.
So here's the book. And,
so this was a prototype. We wanted to just kind of see. We wanted to put our hands on it. We wanted to see if we enjoyed it as a book, because I knew I enjoyed drawing it. Bill enjoyed writing it. But did we want to have this on our bookshelf? So we printed up a small run of soft covers, let's test out the layout and look for typos, check the font. Well, it solved a lot of problems for us actually. Being able to put our hands on it was like this small run of proofs. But we have looks like half a dozen. We have 6 left over from that initial run, and we've given them away. And so, but we're gonna give one away. We're gonna give a few of them away tonight. We got a question from Steve. Do I have a color palette in mind when I start a piece? Yes, I absolutely do. So in the book, we identify a lot of the gods as colored dots, actually. So when you see a colored dot, especially when it's standing on its own, you'll see that's actually our symbol for God. It's a simplified abstract symbol for the God that's in question, and they're color coded. Um, and Bill, can you turn to the page in the book that where Hermes is whispering to Paris into the shadows, and on the horizon you have the three goddesses? I think it's fourth to the last page.
Oh, when he finally chooses.
Yeah, yeah. So that's actually, let me see if I can I'll bring it up here because it's kind of far. I don't have a JPEG for it on my. Yeah, okay, here we go. So, oh man, that's the black and white ink version. That's not going to be helpful.
Well, you want to see the dots? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I want to be able to see the dots. I've got it up here. So I'll bring it down over my copy of Photoshop. So, we color coded all the gods. And now Hermes is represented as a green dot throughout the story. You'll see it in a lot of the imagery. This as Bill was telling us before. Hermes has a kind of minimized role in the story. Our way to do that was to maximize his actions in the story, and especially in the writing, but to minimize his presence visually. So you only see him really in shadows or as the abstract representation. So to answer your question, Steve, I do go into this thinking of a color scheme, green, and you're starting to see a lot of that show up. Because I work in difference palettes, I'm essentially going to be working within the range of complementary colors, and and to stay within the theme of the green dot theme of Hermes. And if you look through if you go to the Kickstarter, for instance, or go to my website and look at the Make paintings, they all each goddess has their dot is included in that painting as well. So let's see, we've got some more action in the chat. Thanks for the question, Steve. I appreciate it. Fire Crosser says beautiful cover for beautiful art. Thank you, appreciate that. Caldo Fernandez, how did you guys manage the writing of the book, and what actually pushed you to the picture the way we've been shown? Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. I think
the hardest 110 words I ever wrote.
Yeah. I mean, he's not being facetious. I mean, we really hammered the words. I mean, Bill brought a lot. He's the writer. He wrote the hell out of it, and then once we wrote it down and we sat down and we talked about the writing, we talked about the words, and Bill kind of hung back while I tried to come up with the imagery, and then let me show him the imagery. And then it was just kind of push and pull. So we actually have quite a bit of discarded, unused art because some things didn't work. Throughout, as the conversations developed and whatnot, it's a lot of push and pull. Which was great. The collaboration was great because normally I have to do that by myself, and with the voices in my head, and but having Bill there to provide the written content, as masterfully as he did, made my job a lot easier.
Yeah, and for a while we did weekly meetings where we'd hammer over the words or critique the art and really go over it, right?
Yeah,
so had hour-long conversations about a single word.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, we did that a lot, and we recorded some of them sometimes because, to be honest, we were drinking. We'd share a bottle of scotch and work, until we couldn't work. There was one conversation where we went back and forth on a single word. I don't remember what that word was. It's probably good because it might seem silly in retrospect. Do we use that or
the spelling of government?
Oh, that, man! I was gonna fight you on that one because
man.
We'd already printed the prototypes, and I had stuff on the internet for the book and whatever, and I'm like, you want to change the spelling of the title? You serious, bro?
No, that's not what the argument was. You liked the E aesthetically.
I did like the E aesthetically, absolutely.
And I do too. It's good.
for everybody's information, the word judgment, it's acceptable to spell the word with two e's or with one. Uh, yeah. But Caldo, I hope that roundabout answer kind of answered your question. I apologize. It's a good question. Um, and I love that we have an Easter egg in the book now. This is great.
I can't not see it.
I know. I can't either. I actually refuse to change it because I'm glad it's there. I'm really happy it's there. All right, so I'm gonna get back to painting. Bill, tell us. Let's talk about what. Let's talk about the scope of the book. I mean, we weren't just gonna do Judgment of Paris.
That's a good point. So we actually talked about a lot of things that weekend that we could collaborate on. At the time in my real life, I was a programmer, and Eli an artist. So we considered maybe making a video game for a bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we thought maybe we could make something about war and show like being heroic and badass, but then like how terrible it really is. And the more we discussed it, the more it occurred to us neither of us were video game developers, so we dropped the idea like a hot rock.
Yep. Still really want to make a video game though.
Yeah, man. It's, I don't know, it's a bucket list item for me, I guess.
Judgment of Flappy Bird? We could put that in the oven.
He did just pick up a Pixel program, so.
Oh, actually, yeah, I did. And it's really easy to use, and it does animation and sprite sheets, and I'm actually really excited to play with it.
We could make an SNES game.
All about it. Let's do it.
So
we're pulling down the Kickstarter. We're pivoting to a video game. Sorry, guys.
Microtransactions.
So as we discussed that idea of like how terrible war really is, it of course got me thinking about the Iliad, because the Iliad is the book about war, and it, it glorifies war, and it shows the terror of war, and it shows how much a person can be noble while on the battlefield and how despicable a person can be. And it has all of the great strokes of all of literature in this one book. So I described the entire story to Eli, and we loved it, but we wanted to tell just a single pure piece of the story, which is how we settled on Judgment in the first place. And then I started to explain the ramifications, like what happens after Judgment ends. Paris goes with his brother to Menelaus's house and falls in love with his wife, and they get on a boat with his wife and leave. And that's in the Greek myths. Paris cannot do anything but that, because Aphrodite has turned their hearts. And as we all know, humans can't do anything if not following Aphrodite. So they get on the boat and go and start what is maybe the first recorded world war, such as it was.
So. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So, I mean, that story itself is also a small, beautiful piece of humanity, in its glory and terror.
Don't editorialize it. I mean, don't sensationalize. It wasn't that big a deal. I mean,
well, it's the first major book that we have in whole, and still one of the best. So that's where I'm headed with the story axes. So after that, of course, Menelaus goes to his brother Agamemnon and says, "Hey, bro, this guy took my wife. Let's go get her back," because that's just property theft in ancient Greek, and a king couldn't stand for that sort of thing.
We're gonna talk about that a bit too later on, like because we are like we're in a sensitive time historically, and there are some themes in Greek mythology that honestly suck, like sexism and that kind of thing. And we went into telling this story. We hope sensitive enough because like we didn't want to regurgitate a lot of those things that you know.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about the inherent sexism of Aphrodite's prize to Paris,
Yeah.
and we tried really hard to extract as much of that sort of objectification out of it.
And I think we did. I think we did a terrible job. My girlfriend won't read this book. No, I'm kidding.
Even the bet itself, right? Callisti, for the most beautiful, right?
Yeah.
These goddesses are fighting over their own physical appearances. And we tried to accept that as the truth of the book, but not dwell on it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we did a decent job. And we haven't gotten any feedback that says otherwise. And I know we've gotten feedback from quite a few people. Yeah. So so we used to do these meetings. Our kitchen summits. For a while, Bill and I we lived in the same house, and we would meet in the kitchen and just like stand there, you know, and talk about the story. And we uh, we we realized that as Bill would describe to me one story, and then we'd work on it, and then we talk about the next one, like, oh, this is what happened next. Like, oh, we got to do that one too. And then months later, and it's like, all right, well, this is the whole Iliad practically, and we're like, fuck it, why not? Judgment is the first in these stories, because I mean, really, where do you pick a place to stop but the end, and so like the scope of the project is long. It's far, but it's a big scope. And and we're seeing people interested with the project. And we haven't done a whole lot of talking about it. Like I realized just quite recently that there's not a lot about that on the Kickstarter page. So I'll be changing that next couple of days. Expect an update or a blog post or something. But yeah, I mean, like this is how this story came to be because of meetings like that, of just like uh, blizzards. I think we did it again on the following blizzard too. Not for this story. I think it was for it was for a Riddick story.
I still have that script. It's really good.
I was just reading it actually. I still have it in my Dropbox or my drive. Yeah. Anyway, this book is kind of a reflection of how Bill and I interact on a regular basis. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted talking. So quiet now.
So, Axis, to your point, we do have our biggest ambitions is to tell most of the Iliad, but to pull the threads out and inspect just a single thread at a time. So we'll watch what the heroes do during the battle. We'll watch what the gods do during the battle separately. And then finally what Achilles does himself. But that's all well into the future.
Yeah. Not too far, hopefully. I was talking to the printer a little while ago, and he asked what the scope of the book is. Because, I mean, he's got to think about, potential orders and that kind of thing. And I gave him a quick rundown of that. And he was just like, okay, he's like, I'm going to say this, just, I'm really excited about this. Like, me too. So, I think it's a good idea. I mean, we think it's a good
Yeah.
idea.
You know what? I found the first round edits for Paris.
Oh, shit.
Well, this isn't Paris. This is for Helen.
Oh, okay. Well, we can spoil that story now if you want. I mean, could Google the answer to the end of that story right now.
It's actually the beginning of the movie Troy, which I just watched 3-4 weeks ago.
I kind of like that movie. I got to be honest.
Troy?
Yeah.
There are things I like about it. There's a lot I don't. What do you think, Axis? Do you like the movie Troy? You seem to know a lot about the subject matter.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I've been ignoring the chat. I'm sorry about that.
They're just enraptured by what I'm saying.
Okay. Bonovich and Elysian, thank you so much for the compliments. Appreciate that. Axe's mythologist as a kid. Yeah, man, it's cool stuff. I can't say that I loved it since I was a kid. Honestly, I went to a public school in a very not safe neighborhood, so we didn't get a lot of that. But you know, I do love this stuff now. Let's see here. Oh, Marichan says they found a typo. Okay, hold on. No, okay, that's an older comment. Sorry. I'm playing catch up here. Oh, and my chat just disappeared. There we go.
Yeah, Marichan did find a typo. I actually brought it to you when that happened.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm painting and talking, and I can usually only do one thing at a time.
That's fair. Yeah, Bonovich, I think that's probably true for me too. I try very hard to read like the big important stuff, but I never manage to. It's always the myths. It's always, the stories of that infected people, and it's not like Russian literature, except Gogol, I guess.
Yeah, see, my love of literature came from reading Beverly Cleary. Ribsy Finds a Bone. Ramona and Me. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, it's gonna fall flat. Sorry. Oops. Oh, you know what? We were gonna do a giveaway. What I would like for, if you're interested in a prototype copy of the book, I didn't really think about how we were gonna do this giveaway, like contest or just pick a name out of a hat.
Well, we talked about it.
Did we?
Yeah, go support the Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. All right. Everybody who's in the Twitch stream gets an entry, right? If you supported the Kickstarter, you get another entry. And then we'll pick a name out of a hat. Let me know in the chat if you've supported the Kickstarter, and I know Bonovich has. Bonovich, thank you very much. My interaction with you have been actually very pleasant. We talked a little bit on Instagram. Appreciate the kind words. I always love when there's the interaction and whatnot. I'm always worried that I'm just out there alone, spitting my stuff out into the internet. So, Bill, I'm gonna give you something to do.
Oh, thank God.
So, I need you to write everybody's name on a piece of paper, put it in a hat.
That's a great idea. Elysian, I'm going to say is how you say your name. No, that's not it.
Oh, no, definitely not.
I don't know if I'm supposed to I don't know if this is like a superhero thing where I'm supposed to use people's real names if I know them,
No, use the usernames.
except for James.
Because I don't know if we don't know if everybody's cool with using their real names, and this is gonna be recorded and put on YouTube, so I don't want to deal with any of that, honestly.
And James the Watermelon signed a release, so he's okay.
Yes, yes. Well, as okay as one can be with somebody eating out of them, the way Bill is.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Oh man.
Now, Sabanovich, you're safe. I don't actually know you in real life, as far as I know.
So Bill's gonna take care of the raffle bits while I paint. And Toby's gonna sing us a song. It's gonna be quite lovely.
My baloney has a first name.
Shit. Didn't actually think that was gonna happen. Oh man, that red is pretty. It's pretty. Let me if I can do something with that. Interesting.
Okay. I've got everybody written down.
Okay, and if you've supported the Kickstarter, say so in the chat, and Bill will add another name for you. Zbonovich has supported us. I think Calville has too. I'm not sure.
Elysian says they did, yeah. There was also the question of favorite Greek stories.
Yeah, so that's a tough one, Elysian. I think that there's different Greek stories, right? So I actually studied the ancient Greek language for 3 years so that I could read Plato. And what I ended up doing was reading a lot of Homer. So you've got the philosophy, which is, my central core. But you also have the mythology, and then you have the plays, right? So like you're talking Oedipus and Seven Against Thebes and things like that. And there's amazing things about each of them. So for my estimation, Plato is the greatest author that I've read. But that's probably just because he's the one author I've studied the most deep. You can't not love the Iliad if you know the Iliad. It's literally got everything a story could or should have. But that said, stories like Oedipus, the plays, the comedies, and the tragedies are all the ones that have survived, the ones that have gotten to us because people thought they were worth preserving through, a millennia of persecution, through endless wars. So the stuff that survives today is all really quite amazing. So it's hard to pick exactly like the few that are the best, in my opinion, because like Plato's Republic is just an unparalleled work. But if you're talking storytelling, it doesn't compare to the Iliad. And that's the problem that I have with the Greeks, is that I love it all so much. Maybe my favorite story for like explaining why the Greeks were important, like why they're the sort of core of what became Western civilization, is the translation is a story called The Furies, which actually intersects with the Iliad and with Judgment of Paris. So in the story, a descendant of Agamemnon, which means that he's also a descendant of Tantalus, kills somebody, and
somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is Greek, so murders someone, and the local, like, sort of primordial gods who live in that area, because there were the Olympians who were like the stately beings that rule the universe, but there were also like river gods and tree gods and forest gods. And the local gods were the Erinyes, which are the Furies. Rip, random signal. And the whole story is about these beings chasing down the main character of the story, whose name is completely escaping me. And eventually he gets to Athens, where he hides from these female goddesses. And because Athens is under the rule of Athena, Athena prevents them from coming to kill him, and instead holds a trial. So you have Athena, the bringer of law, who's a woman in this really, really chauvinistic society, protecting a man who's the victim of these beings that are getting revenge. And they hold this very democratic trial. And is it Orestes? It is Orestes. I'm going to say it's absolutely Orestes. Yeah, Bonovich, thank you.
Bonovich gets an extra entry. Come on.
And at the end, Orestes is vindicated, and the Furies are turned from these vengeful spirits to loving beings that help and support everybody. So this whole story is about how there's like this savageness, and through trial can transform into civilization, democracy, and, you know, fairness. So I don't know that that's my favorite story, but damn, is it a really good one. Just like the Power Rangers. No, I'll be honest with you, Bonovich. I actually don't know the Power Rangers. I was just a little bit too old when they were on TV, and now not so much.
You didn't see them? You didn't see the movie?
So I watched the Dark YouTube video.
I don't know what that is.
Like there was like a 15-minute short that like some independent people made.
Yeah. I remember that. That was pretty cool. The movie was fun. It was a good homage to the TV show. I was young enough to see it on television and not feel, weird about
it. Yeah, no, thanks, Elysian. That's a great question. So are we going to give these books out live?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I was paranoid about the sound.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Cool.
Nothing tops that one stream.
Oh, I told Bill about that. It was my last stream too. I was just like, you know what? I can't deal with the stress and the disappointment of a stream going wrong. 2 hours of no audio. Just couldn't believe it.
It just shows how much of an ego you and I both have, and the fact that neither of us noticed.
Yeah, I just Happy to talk.
Like no one in the stream could hear anything.
No one said anything, honestly, till like the second hour. I don't know what happened. Maybe they were just like, oh god, finally these guys shut the hell up. Alright, so if anybody's watching the actual painting, I'm just kind of knocking out the silhouette a bit so it's a little easier to read. Because one part of the motif in the book is this black sky, and that's a homage to a lot of the terracotta paintings. The Greeks left behind. Why is it I can't type where? I don't know how to answer that, Bonovich. But yeah. These are good questions. I wish this brush was just a little softer. Bill, what are you drinking?
Rum.
Does that make you feel like more of a man? Does it?
It will after the next class.
So Bill, you have the names in the hat, yeah?
Yeah, I've got a bunch.
Let's draw one.
Caldo. It is Clemente coconut rum. Yum.
Alright, so I'm gonna preemptively head off Steve if he's still watching, but I know I talked about this painting being green. I promise we'll get there at some point.
Huh. Yeah, Caldo, I would recommend it. It's very sweet though.
Well, it's spiced rum. Is that it?
No, it's coconut.
Just coconut. Yeah. I don't like sweet alcohol. I gotta be honest. I want my alcohol to hurt. It's like how if it's too painful, I don't want it anymore. Otherwise, I'll keep drinking it. I can't drink fruity drinks. So I don't know how to tell myself that it's alcohol. It's just juice. I love juice.
That's a good story, Eli.
I know. I'm painting. I'm just trying to say stuff so that people remember I'm here. I'm not really good at the Twitch stream. As much as I do enjoy this, I'm not really good at this.
Art is the loneliest number.
Man, I'm just singing, saving the day.
It's funny because like you're working with the studio, I find myself if I'm working on a particular project that while the convenience of having the studio be remote and like I can work from home, I do miss that kind of like togetherness that you kind of like get from being amongst other artists and like sitting across the aisle, across a desk or anything like that.
Right, because you guys are remote, huh?
Yeah. So 100% of my work is done from home, which is super convenient. Like can walk the dog, can do errands or anything like that, and come home and start working. Like I don't have to worry about a commute or that kind of thing.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is, but it can can very often kind of feel, you know, you
Lonely.
lose that sense of collaboration that draws me to that type of work anyway.
No, I get that. Yeah, I mean, like right now I'm working at home as well, 100% of the time, and like I thought for a while I really wanted to be in a studio, like I mean like in a collaborative space with people, like sharing tasks and whatever, and I realized very quickly I do not. It's just like I I can't stand the sound of people talking behind me when I'm working. Just like I just can't deal with it. So I'm very happy to be working on my own. And the collaborative aspect, yeah, I do miss that. Bill and I, like, you know, I'd come downstairs and bother him and about whatever, you know, some stupid article or fucking video game or something, and those breaks were also often conducive to doing more work. But when you're not in control of who's talking or when, um, that gets very, very frustrating.
Okay, Caldo, I'm giving you a +1 for that.
See here. Cool.
So I gotta say, Eli, the one thing that I missed the most about living together is the kitchen summits.
and we tried it at your new place, and it's just not really the same.
Didn't work out.
No.
Things just changed, Eli.
Yeah, we grew up. um, but it's fond memories, and like they led to making Judgment of Paris. Like we have physical evidence of these kitchen summits, so it's not all bad.
Yeah.
Save that. I may grab a beer in a little bit because I'm a little thirsty. First, I'm gonna try to bring this back to green for Steve.
So Elysian, Eli and I pitched and really developed quite far a story, a Riddick story that pretended to be an
No, don't. We're not gonna talk about it.
It was fantastic.
No, we're not gonna talk about it because I still believe in that project. I'm gonna call somebody at IDW. I found out they have the rights to Riddick, the comic. I'm gonna pitch it. It's gonna happen. I know people who know people. All right. We're not gonna talk about it on this stream. No. 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 No.
What else do we have here? Well, a long time ago, I contracted Eli to do a set of paintings.
Oh yeah, traded me a computer. The computer I'm
Yeah.
working on right now, actually.
Yeah, he got a good deal out of
Yeah, I think so.
that. Corvinus, I have. I don't know why I have that in the show folder.
Yeah, I think I was just showing you Corvinus.
Yeah, imaginary things.
I have to get you caught up on imaginary things. That's a whole thing now. We have.
Well, I see your Instagram.
No, beyond that, we have stuff to talk about.
No, so apparently we're going to do that too, Elysium.
Yeah. It's not quite green, but it's close. Man, I feel like the Greek idiot because like I have to look up Ovid. I'm sorry. As much as I love this stuff, my innate knowledge of it is limited. I do apologize for that. The focus I have on myths tend to be more Native American or some other things. But crap, I feel dumb now.
Well, you were looking up, Dominican stuff even.
Yeah, the Taino myth. I'm still researching that actually, and that stuff is super interesting. Cause I just feel weird saying my people, but like, Dominicans are descended from Taino, and there's still some stuff that overlaps culturally that survived. The more I learn about it, the more I see in like my family members and the stuff I know about Elysian's Dominican. Wait, is that who I think it is? Bill?
I think it is. That's why I was talking about real names.
Wait, no, it's not who. Yeah, it's not who I. Never mind. We'll confer on that later. But yeah. I'm writing uh, a whole thing on uh, that
Yep,
stuff.
there he goes. He outed himself.
All right, cool. Hey, James. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
That's why the watermelon's named James, by the way.
Yeah. Like I didn't even think I didn't think to assume that was James because I was like, James is here. He's the watermelon. But no. Yeah, the Taino stuff actually, the structure of their mythology is I guess co-opting it a bit for something else I'm working on. And I feel kind of okay doing that because I'm Dominican, and it is a part of my culture. Whereas, you know, I'm pretty much just raping and pillaging everything else, mythologically
Cultural
speaking.
appropriation.
That's too PC for this conversation. Uh,
Cultural bogarting.
I like it. I like it. All right, so let's do a giveaway.
All right.
Pick a name out of the hat, and then if you win, I'm gonna put my hey Adam, good to see you. I'm gonna put my email in the chat so that you can email me your shipping information. Can a watermelon be offered?
Yeah, James, I'll bring you a watermelon tomorrow.
Shipping James through the mail. What is this? Light white slavery?
Wow.
Green slavery, maybe?
Yeah, so that happened.
Yeah, that happened. We're gonna move on real fast from that one.
Talking about mailing characters we've created.
No. Just feel uncomfortable now. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was painting. I was trying to get this to a green. And I got it to green, and I was just like, it's not a great green. But I might be able to work with that. So I'm not really gonna talk about my painting process this time around. Not that anybody actually asked, except for Steve. I really want to talk about the book and stuff we're doing with the book. Oh, man, that's such a nice purple. Why can't we change the color of Hermes dot to purple? Is that alright? Just to match this painting.
Caldo Fernandez.
We got a winner. All right, awesome. Congratulations, Caldo. Caldo.
Oh, and you know what? It was the recipe that paid off.
Yeah. Awesome. Congratulations, Caldo. Caldo, you can either email me your address or get me on Facebook, and everybody else, stay tuned. We still have names in the hat, and we've got more books to give away. We're probably gonna do another giveaway in maybe 20 or so minutes. We'll see. We're gonna keep cranking on this painting, and Bill's gonna continue to get drunk and eat watermelon. And I gotta say that's a little more interesting than what I'm doing right now, at least to me anyway. I wish I was drunk. Okay, so um, I might need to take a break in a moment. My dog is asking to go outside. Uh, she's the boss of me when my fiance is not here. I'm never the boss of me. All right. So Bill, talk to us about the Rage of Achilles. That's really ultimately what we're building towards.
Yeah. Um, Let me try to remember the term I'm looking for.
Elysian, yeah. I don't know. We never really considered changing the story stuff. I guess from like the core points. It's a good question. I don't know what we would do. Well, the war not simply. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a good question. You know, it's like so in our book we talk about the offers that each goddess makes to sway Paris's favor. And yeah, I wonder well, that's a good question. Bill, what do you think?
Um, so it's an interesting idea, right? So Hera offered rulership over Europe and Asia. And if I were to write that story, he'd be assassinated immediately.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Athena offers all the knowledge of all the great generals. If I'm not mistaken. Correct. That's how we wrote
All
it,
of
right?
the sages.
Sages. Thank you.
That's a more challenging one. So Greek mythology deals a lot with really smart people and their inability to be understood by um, everyone else, right? So one of the themes is this one guy, Tiresias, wandering Greece, telling all of the heroes about the tragedies about to befall them, and then they go and sleep with their moms and rip their eyes out and things.
Awesome.
Uh, so it's very possible that it ends really, really badly for him just because of the knowledge that he has. Um, but one of the things in Greek mythology that is built into the downfall, even of just smart people, is hubris. And knowing what we know about Paris is hubris is as important a quality as anything else of his. So he would have gained that knowledge, and then
Yeah, I think like my instinct for that outcome, if like I would want to play with the idea of wisdom and like and making the distinction. So like we would kind of belabor the decision, and Paris would ultimately refuse it. Um, and we'd be left with the question: is just does he know that choosing this is folly? Does that make him wise? Does denying the gift of this wisdom make him wise? Or is it foolish? That kind of thing. I don't want to keep it ambiguous. I think. From a purely narrative standpoint, I mean, I don't the implications as far as like the philosophy and the history is concerned. I mean, I think that's what you come in, Bill. Um, but yeah, I'd want the I guess the result of that to be very very ambiguous, if that
hmm.
makes any sense.
So I think that's good sensibilities for us. The Greeks really liked finality.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think like pie in the sky. If I could tell the story like that, I think I'd want it. But you know, what Greek mythology and philosophy is, and history, and their cultural um, uh, focuses, priorities. Um, I don't think that would be allowed. And have it still be that story.
Yeah.
But it's a great
I
question.
think
It's a lot to think about.
it is a good question. I think one of the important parts, like one of the things that we tried to convey in the book, is that Paris never had an option. Like, you find a 16, 17-year-old kid and ask him to choose between being smart, being powerful, or getting laid. There's only one answer.
Mm.
Yeah, Bonovich, I think that's true. Although Paris, I don't think, had control of himself in that moment.
I feel like I'm taking steps back with this painting. I gotta be honest.
It looks like what I cooked for dinner 2 days ago.
Mexican.
Yeah,
I'm
Was
getting a
that
real.
before or after you ate it?
I'm getting a real salsa vibe from this painting. Oh shit.
Guacamole.
Thunder. That's why B was freaking out.
Oh, your dog does that too.
Not normally. Um,
It's funny. He's typically not allowed in the bedroom unless there's thunder and lightning, and then you know he'll totally chill in there.
uh,
Axes, you nailed it.
List of stories destroyed by teen hormones. Star Wars.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Phantom Menace, easy.
I was. Yep, exactly.
Do you have a favorite Greek god? Ooh.
Whoa.
Yes. I, I guess. Yeah, I do.
I like that. Yes. Next question.
So do I.
Yeah. Good question though. I appreciate that.
Making us think.
Which and why? Dude, what are you doing?
I really like Eurydice. I guess it's arguable if she's a goddess or not, but she inspired Orpheus, who brought music to humans and who convinced the rains to come and crops to grow. And she did it by convincing Orpheus's people to live in harmony with nature. It's a great story, and it ends really, really bad for Orpheus. Eli, do you want to tell a story?
Nope. Not really.
The river god that Achilles met?
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
he sucked.
Let me say, I'm sorry. I'm just. I forgot to let Twitter know that the stream is working now. Just doing that real quick.
Yeah, Axes, that whole story of Orpheus is very, very sad, but it's also incredible. It's an amazing story filled with emotion and bravery and everybody messing everything up. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, yeah.
I love to talk about stuff I like.
Honestly, I don't mean to to be evasive of the question, I guess, but it's it's hard for me to answer that actually. I'm my concern, the thing that I'm interested in as far as the Greek gods are concerned, at Pantheon is how they're connected. The relationships are really what interests me, and not individual feats or stories, or even stature. Um, uh, the structure of mythology is kind of what I'm obsessed with. um, and that's actually due to Bill. Um, that courses on video DVD you gave me about mythology.
Mm,
Um,
great,
yeah,
the great coaches.
yeah. Watched a really great one about about the the common structures of myths throughout cultures, and that's really what got me invested in the subject matter. Uh, so I don't and that's mostly my concern with them. Um, you know, the connections.
Yeah. And Caldo, I love that story. It's, that story is told to get people interested in philosophy. But I think no, probably we wouldn't. Not after this, at least.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about doing um, these little one-off comics or
Oh,
something that would let us kind of explore stuff outside of the range of the Iliad. Or we can play with some of those like Prometheus Unbound, and even stuff that happened afterwards.
yeah.
Uh,
Prometheus is a deep
that's true.
story, though. It's tough to do in a short
Yeah,
time.
yeah, but I still do like the idea of doing the little one-offs, like the of oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on his fucking name.
Oh, you
Um,
know what? We should have done that. We should have done some of those one-offs as Kickstarter rewards.
yeah, it just came down to time. I just
Yeah.
like I'm still in neck deep on Angelarium, and then all the work for this Kickstarter is I'm not sleeping very much. So, and I'm actually I'm not drawing very much. It's a lot of why I left Hermes for this live stream. Is that it gives me a legitimate excuse to paint. Um, but the one-offs I think is something maybe we could consider for the future. I think, but not as like one-off prints or anything. We talked about them as movie posters. I like the idea of maybe creating a small anthology of these one-page comics. That tell different stories.
Axes, I think I would love to do that as like a rom-com. So
That would be fun, yeah.
one of the stories we decided not to tell was
And the
uh,
Swan,
um,
yeah.
Lita and the Swan, because that story is amazing, but it's like the dirtiest thing that I can think of. It's
How I Met Your Mother, and your mother, and your mother, and your mother.
Oh my god. Things are gonna get
yeah,
weird tonight. I have a feeling.
yeah. Lita and the Swan is a great story. Um, and it's actually important because that's who Castor and Pollux and Helen and Jesus, what is wrong with me? Clytemnestra came from, right? And like Helen wasn't born; she was hatched from a swan egg. They kind of forget about that when they're fighting over her.
The story of that dude that meets that dude in the underworld. Fuck, Ajax and
So there's a bunch of people that go into the underworld. Odysseus meets.
Odysseus. Thank you.
So in the Odyssey, Odysseus goes to the underworld. He meets a bunch of people,
Yeah,
including Hercules and Agamemnon.
yeah. But we wanted to focus specifically on Ajax and their
Oh yeah,
relationship because of what happens on the battlefield during
yeah.
it.
Ajax in the Iliad is like one of the saddest stories out there, right? Because Ajax was this powerful, heroic warrior, and the gods know that there's no one that can defeat him, and so they send their own hallucinations to him. and he kills the food supply for the Greeks. And when he comes to his own senses, he realizes what he's done and he kills himself. It's powerful.
Yeah. So and that was a small moment, but a significant one. Not that part in the story, but like them meeting in the underworld, that we felt was like the perfect tone and length for this kind of thing. Um, and I still think that that's an idea worth pursuing eventually. Um, though I think it might be cool if we invited other artists to work on it. So like every one of them was handled by a different artist with a different approach.
I do like the idea of making movie posters, though.
Yeah, it's just yeah, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, we'll have to revisit the idea and really figure out what's what. Um,
I just want movie posters, man.
I know you keep hammering that, like Mad City and
So I think Mad City as movie posters would be huge for you.
yeah, I really do want to get back on Mad City. That that was a really fun project I started, and never really got to. Oh, I just saw a line. Never really got to fully explore, and I wanna fix that. Oh man, that is a disgusting purple. Yeah, it's something for the future. We'll see.
Yeah, Boinovich, so Bonovich, we probably won't do the Odyssey because the Odyssey is as long as the Iliad, and this has already taken 4 years of our lives.
Well, I mean, okay, let's be fair about it. Like it has taken us 4 years to put this together, but it's never really been the highest priority, not until recently. Like the first 2 years, like your script, which was finished immediately, sat in my drawer while I was trying to have an illustration career. And then we I finally got it back around to it, and I hammered out all the work in like 2 weeks, all the art. And then it was just fine tuning for a year. And we
We
even
did spend
that
a lot of time hammering that over.
Yeah, and we even that we took our time with. We didn't want to rush it. We didn't have to rush it. We weren't on a deadline. We wanted to enjoy the process. Um, and
We
you know
enjoyed the hell out of it.
we enjoyed the hell out of it, and that's fine. I don't think that's an accurate reflection of like how long it
Yeah,
would take for
so
us
I
to.
mean, I was being a little flippant with it, but I
Yeah.
think, yeah, Bonovich, that's a great point. I guess part of it depends on how this is received. I think I would like to work with Eli on some sci-fi.
Yeah, I think we would be a good pair for that. And we are for them. We are approaching these stories in a new way. I think. Um, the goal for these stories, and it's why these stories are so brief. Like we're concerned about the experience of taking these stories in. Like we don't want people to. Okay, so like people look at these epics, these myths, and they're held up as this monument of storytelling and fusion of storytelling and history, and they're grand. We wanted to be able to put those back into people's hands without diminishing their grandeur, and uh, it's why the brevity of these stories was a focus for us, and really just distilling them down. And I think that's a different perspective on the storytelling for these myths. They're in that they're less academic, um, and more honestly for the people, for regular people. You don't and we want them to be very experiential. So which is why, like, for instance, in Judgment and what we have for Helen and Iphigenia and Hollis, it's about the perspective of these characters. We want people to relate to them again. Is that fair to say, Bill?
Yeah, I think so. So Axes, I think you may be, disappointed. I don't really read a lot of modern sci-fi anymore, but I think Asimov is my favorite. His short stories are just unparalleled. There is an old story that I really, really liked called A Canticle for Leibowitz, which I would just recommend go out and read. It's I think it's old at this point. It's probably 50, 60 years old at this point, but really, really good. I don't want to say much more about it because the whole thing is a surprise. Bonovich, let me look up the short story. I always think of the same short story from Asimov, but I can never remember it. And I think it'll become obvious that it's the one. Asimov. Hmm. Axes, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually lost a lot of my fiction when I moved. So I don't actually have fiction at my desk at all.
There's a. If I can recommend a recommendation for a good science fiction short story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Binti. It's fairly new. It's a novella. It's coming out in parts through Tor.com, Tor Books. It's an amazing story. I'm eagerly waiting for the next part to come out. Like, I feel like one of those kids you see in movies in the 50s, waiting for the next installment of their radio show. It's amazing. It's very, very good. Also, oh, what the hell is that book called? It's a novel. It's a trilogy. The third one's coming out soon. The fifth season, by N.K. Jemisin. That's a delightful post-apocalyptic, magic-infused, alternate history book. It's very, very good. And it kind of skirts the line between science fiction and fantasy in that way that I enjoy. You work at a library? Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I would quit my job right now to work at a library.
Which job?
Artist.
Oh, gotcha. Setting your priorities.
Oh man.
So I cannot find the one I'm looking for, but it's part of a series of short stories about the evolution of computers into the future. And there comes a point where computers are sort of benevolent overlords, and they are putting people in buckets, right? Like you take a test when you turn 18 and it says, okay, you go be an engineer, you go mow lawns or whatever. And the main character just fails the test. He just doesn't belong anywhere. And the short story is his experience. And at the end, it turns out he does belong somewhere. And it's really quite good. Cannot, for the life of me, find the name of the story, though. Axes. So in my head, it is Asimov. That story is so deeply ingrained that it may be misattributed.
Apologies to Eli and the stream, but I might actually have to bail for now.
All right, man. It was great having you here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Sure,
Good luck
man.
with the Kickstarter and the giveaways.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thanks for joining us. Making fun of the watermelon for a while.
I love that watermelon. All right, take care, gents.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Bonovich, that's amazing. I would volunteer at a library, I think. You know, if I had the time. But I do this and I do 2 other things, so. Now I feel bad.
You should feel bad. That's a terrible thing to say.
That's what rum's for. Makes the feeling stop.
Ah, yes.
Axes. I don't know if that they're engineered to be in certain circles, but they have predilections throughout their training, and when they graduate, they qualify to be a particular role. What are you going on about, Eli?
Bonovich wanted to know about the books.
Oh,
Books
yeah.
I recommended.
Right on.
Oh, you know what? I wonder something. Let me try something really quickly. I don't know why I didn't think to do this. I might actually be able to get my face back up on the stream. Possibly. Yeah, here I am. Will be shortly. It literally just occurred to me. It was like, alright, I just have to turn off my camera on Skype where I'm not using it. Not very bright.
I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, I know, because you're a bad friend.
Yeah, Axes, it's just not coming to me right now. I've been in Greek mode all this time. Thank you, Bonovich. So maybe we should give a book away.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Maybe let's do something a little different. What about trivia? Everybody seems to be fairly knowledgeable. Present, with the exception of me.
What's Eli's address?
What is Eli's address? And honestly, if any of my previous Kickstarter backers are in the chat, they might know.
That's pretty funny. I don't even know your address. You texted it to me a week ago.
Yes, I did. Rock, paper, scissors is not a bad idea, but we have some logistical problems with that. But thank you for the suggestion, Bonovich. Let me think. How about let's do scavenger hunt. Let's do that. You guys find something somewhere First person to find
The names of all the Olympians.
without.
That's probably a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, but they have to actually type it. So it's about who types the fastest.
Yeah, who can copy paste from Wikipedia?
Yeah. Uh, God, I really want to make this interesting. Maybe for the next one. All right, we'll do the raffle again, and I'll try to think of something interesting for the third giveaway.
Somebody find the guitar.
Oh, that's a running one. I'll tell you what. If somebody finds the guitar, first they need to make sure that it's viewable. Hold on.
Yeah. Axes. There are actually only 12 Olympians, actual Olympians.
Because like nobody really has the book, so we can't.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah. Like somebody will win this book after they get their book and find the answer. Let me think. Let's do something in the theme too. How about that? Like oh, fuck it. I'm so bad at this. All right, no, Bonovich, we're not doing that. uh, no, let's do the name out of the hat for now, and we'll think of something for the next giveaway, which
All
we'll
right.
do 20 minutes later.
Bonovich. You just won by random.
Nice. All right, Bonovich, congratulations.
This means I have to drive to Boston to sign books, though.
Yeah, it does. I'll buy you lunch. How about that?
I'm down with that.
Yeah, we'll hit that pub again. That was good food. Chicken tenders were amazing.
I don't remember the food, but it was a good pub.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Bonovich, congratulations. You can email me your shipping information, um, or you can get me on Facebook or Instagram, and yeah, and we will send you out a copy of the book.
That's a great question, Axes. And it's true that he did ascend upon his death. He deified. But I don't think he's one of the Olympians. I don't think he counts as one of the Olympians. Now I want to Google it, though, just to be sure. Oh, you know what?
You're at your computer right now.
Yeah, but better than that, I have a book here.
Touche, sir.
Watch me look stuff up. Join my new Twitch where I read a book.
I bet you could get subscribers to that. Alright, I'm gonna flatten this and make this a smaller file because it's starting to get a little laggy. Alright, so I'm gonna take a quick break and leave you guys with Bill. I have to take my dog out and get a beer. So I will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, Bill, entertain, sir, entertain.
You guys would just want me to dance?
Ooh, now I don't want to go. I gotta see this.
Oh, Beatrix.
Yeah, I guess you guys can see. Beatrix, come here. Before I go. Beatrix, come on. Come here. It's okay. You're not in trouble. We're going out in a minute. See if I. She's a little shy. She all she wants is to go outside. So I'm just gonna move my camera, turn my camera towards her. She's that's the apartment. Uh, there she is. That's Beatrix. Get a little closer. All right, come on. We're going outside. Try to get some pep in her. I'm not looking at the chat, but there better be some awes and how cutes. Well, this shit is over. Alright, there we go. Thanks, guys. Beatrix says thank you. Alright, so I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. And while I'm out there, I will try to think of something super cool to do for another copy of the book. And we're doing I forget 5 or 6 of these, so if you haven't won one, you still have plenty of chances. Yeah, and Bonovich, yeah, you guys absolutely delivered. I appreciate it. Yeah, Beatrix can use as much love as she can get. All right, I'll be back.
X's, where are you? Great. That's got to be England. You're so far ahead. Portugal. Oh, okay. So I've looked up Heracles, and he actually has 2 deaths, which is interesting. The kind of crazy one is that he gets taken up on a cloud, all happy-like. The second one that I'm more familiar with is, let me see if I can find this guy's name. There was a hero who was, Greek's greatest archer during the Trojan War. But he was particularly odious. So he was an incredibly powerful person, but he was a polemicist. He didn't care about what anybody thought. So he was present at Hercules' funeral pyre, and this might be Ovid's. I'm not in particular familiar with it, but or where this originates from. But they've got a funeral pyre built for Hercules, and Hercules lays upon it, and no one can bring themselves to light this funeral pyre until the archer does, because he doesn't care what anybody thinks. And when he does, Hercules transforms into a god in the flame, and grants this guy his own bow, which he then takes to Troy. But Odysseus brings him to Troy, and Odysseus can't stand him, so he stops halfway and drops him off on an island and then goes back. So, as you know, the Iliad is only the last year of the Trojan War, which was a 10-year war. There were 9 other years, each of which was a book, all of which are lost now. And it is the trials and tribulations of the people fighting the war. But this archer is always missing until finally they send Odysseus back to pick him up, even though nobody can really stand him. He's just too good a fighter to leave back on the battlefield, which is less about Hercules now that I think about it. Oh yeah, they existed. Some of what I've heard, though, like I've heard people commenting about these 9 books, and one of the reasons they got lost is because they just weren't the Iliad, right? Like it was a lot more of, who begat who and who smote who. But it's the final year of the war, where Hector dies, Paris dies, Odysseus comes up with the horse, all that. So it's the final year where all of the really dramatic stuff happens, and everything else was like they went out and bought potatoes and ate them for dinner. But that's just a theory, as far as I know. So what else do you guys like about? Yeah, I mean, they really were very soap opera-y, right? One of the characteristics of epics is that they tell full stories very long, and that's what soap operas do. It actually is kind of like that. Yeah, Bonaventure. So tell me, guys, what about Greek mythology do you like, or what other mythological areas do you like? The Celtic stuff is very popular these days. Norse, yeah. So kind of the cool thing about Norse mythology is it's the only, that's not true. It's the only system of mythology where the gods are very mortal. Like you could go out and kill Thor if you had the skill. Yeah, Egyptian was good. Now, Bonovich, I don't know much of anything about Russian mythology except Baba Yaga. I bet it's fascinating, though, right? There's a reason there were such a literate culture. Yeah, Axis, there are like several different categories of creation myths, which are all very interesting. There's the one in Genesis where something gets spoke into existence. Yeah, Bonovich, find the book. I'd love to hear more about it. So there's like the Genesis account where there's like a being that exists, and then a word is spoken, and then existence comes into existence. And there's also, like, my favorite are the Earth Digger myths, where all of reality is just a giant sea of nothingness. And then something comes into the water and scoops the earth up in order to make the land for people to live on. The Earth Digger myths, I think, are fascinating. I think it's Egypt has a sneeze creation myth, right? Where, like, they sneeze something into existence. But there's also the sexual sort of ejaculate myths where, people have always known how to make babies, and that's the best that they know about creation, so why not make the world that way? So there's a really good book on myths. Yeah, here it is. There's a book called Alpha, The Myth of Creation, which talks about all the creation myths and the sort of common things that they have, that they share. And but it's very academic. Yeah, the Egyptian one does. Alpha, yeah, that's the name of the book. It's by Charles Long. The Birth of Aphrodite. Yeah, Aphrodite was one of the virgin birth gods, Elysian. Let me see if I can go through the list. It was Aphrodite, Artemis, and Athena was born from the head of Zeus. Is that true? Yeah. Athena was born from the head of Zeus. Yeah, so they were like the virgin births. There's actually a theory interpreting the Greek myths where, like, the virgin birthed gods were considered more powerful than the other female gods because they didn't actually require sex. And in a lot of cultures, sex for some reason is thought of as a thing that weakens your being. Yeah, it's weird stuff. But in the ancient Greeks, it was similar, where the virgin births were. Yeah, that's true, actually, and that's where it came from. But interestingly, that actually has parallels with the myth of Kronos swallowing his children, right? Athena's birth did involve sex. So this is purely my opinion, Elysian, but the authors of the epistles were all Greeks, right? St. Paul was a Greek. And the epistles were all primarily written by Greeks. So I think that had huge influence. Oh, man. As I eat my watermelon. Okay, Bonovich, let's hear about it. How do you learn so much about myths? Well, you read and a lot. That's how I did it. No, that's okay, Bonovich, whenever you get to it. Axes. So I actually got into it because I have a degree in philosophy, and the history of philosophy really interested me. So I kept going further and further and further back until I hit literally the beginning of philosophy. And I started to think to myself, hey, how did this come about? Where did philosophy come from? So if you turn to all of the academic writing, there's this interesting passage from the Theogony, which was Hesiod, and then 200 years where epic poetry had stopped. The great religious writing of the Greeks had stopped. And then philosophy comes about. And I was really interested in that passage, how you got from one to the other. And that led me to reading a lot of Hesiod and Homer and those guys. And I just loved the stories so much, so I dove right into them. But also Dungeons and Dragons, that's how it works. Yeah, man. So much Dungeons and Dragons in my life.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So apparently there was a rainstorm, and my windows, which I can't see, were open, and it rained all over the tops of my kitchen cabinets. I'll have to.
Well, that's the best place to grow mildew.
Yep. So what I miss?
So we talked a bit about different kinds of mythology, and then we talked about how you kind of learn mythology. And now Bonovich is telling us about Russian mythology, and I'm really interested in this. I've never heard of that character, Bonovich. Oh, that's good stuff. So she's sort of a fate, but she also is the source of creation?
Okay.
So is she a creation goddess or a mother goddess? And then also fate, right? That's fascinating. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, look at this. A fertility deity of the Turkish Yakut people from the Lena River region of Siberia. Thank you, Wikipedia. I can paste also.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So this is really interesting about this person. This goddess was believed to be present whenever a child was born. And resided on a mountain of 7 stories, where she wrote every birth into her golden book and controlled fate. That's good stuff.
I'm gonna have to tear through this chat and get caught up. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Bill, you mentioned earlier.
Oh, hey, I'm on screen again. I didn't notice I was being filmed.
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, you got moved back up to the other monitor. I actually found a couple of those paintings I did for you way back when.
Oh, look at that. I've actually got that right over here. It's sitting on a table. It's not hung on a wall.
This is the proper place for it.
Yeah, I actually have very little art on my walls. Okay, she brought the first newborn babe down. This is why they are human, because she brought the first one down and made them write their names in the Golden Book of Fate. Wow, so I wonder if she imparts writing to them. Yeah,
I mean that sounds symbolic. You know, like
so
that
it's
gesture.
pretty common that writing is like what makes humanity.
Wow.
Yeah. So Ivanillo says hi.
Ivan, hey. I promise to get to your commission very soon. It hasn't been very long, I don't think. Yeah, 1, 2, maybe 3 years. So NBD.
Well, it took me almost 5 for mine.
Yeah, but you don't count. Ivan's
Clear.
way cooler than you, so he's gonna get his very soon. Plus, he's giving me carte blanche. I get to do whatever I want on his commission, which is very nice. It's a very rare occasion when someone will pay me to draw what I want to draw. So.
Axes, you actually hit upon something really interesting. So there's often what's called a naming myth, where a god will get a human to start naming stuff, and that's what sort of makes it real and permanent. And this actually occurs in the Bible when God and Adam line all of existence up, and Adam has to like go through it and kind of call everything stuff. But it appears in a number of myths, all of which are sort of fascinating for that quality, right? The fact that humans participated in the final step of creation.
That's an interesting comparison. It occurs often in Native American myths as well.
Yeah, Native American has a ton of that, as
Yeah.
well as Earth Digger myths.
I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the conversations that's happening in this particular chat, this particular stream. Um, Normally these streams, they're filled with artists. Not that none of you are artists, but like usually the talk is about art and art process. And while I do enjoy that conversation, I'm so like entrenched in my own process that it's hard for me to like really just kind of be dumb about things. Like and like all this stuff, like I don't know anything about this. So it's always exciting to hear things that honestly I don't know enough about to even have an opinion. It's just all like magic. So I'm super grateful for the chat you guys are, and super entertained with the chat you guys are putting on. So thank you.
Yeah, Bonovich. So the thing that you just said really attracted my attention. This is like a white stone, like a quartz almost, or what?
Can you screen share so we can see?
Yeah. So one of my other hobbies that I'm doing at the moment is jewelry making, and I love that kind of stuff. I would love to get my hands on a piece of that if it's real. The island of Bouillon. Let me Google this up. Alatni.
What's the name of it? Let me. Man, I kind of want to stop painting now so I can like interact and Google stuff, and who gets to have all the fun. There's something about that I really like.
Oh no! Look at this. Bouillon, apparently, yeah, an invisible island. It's like an Atlantis sort of analog. Eli, Axis is asking you if you always use image textures.
No, not normally. Actually, these are new. Or old, I should say. I got them a long time ago, and I never really used them. So I've been trying. So I'll show you some of the textures that I commonly use. You guys get to see kind of the stores. This is a lot of the work I've done over the years. I love the most. So these are some of my handmade textures, right? This is an example of one of them. I have a small press, and I'll make little abstract shapes on copper plate with oil paint or etching ink. Let them dry and scan them. And these can continue to have, because there's a tremendous amount of information in these scans, especially with monotypes, because the printed texture translates every little bit. It's kind of the magic of this technique of monotypes. It gets everything from like the stickiness of the paper, the ink to the plate, smears. It's very dimensional. So if I need a thick texture, I tend to go with a lot of my monotype. Here's another one. My monotype textures. Like this one's very oozy. There's some scratches in it and whatnot. It was originally for a texture for a portrait, so you can kind of see the ghost of a face in there. Yeah, I haven't used that one in a little while actually. So monotypes are usually a go-to for me. Here's some of the rest of them. I'll open them up.
Do you have the God's blots in there?
I do actually. I might. Actually, no. I have that in another folder. And I'll show those. This is another one. And it kind of just it manages to kind of glow. And that's a very unique type of texture. I think unique to monotypes. Um, and then when I want a transparent texture, and there's already some of it in here, like if I just want to like add a grain to the paper, I have a selection of watercolor textures. Um, this is one of them. Um, and I'll just like kind of make these, and not that one specifically. Actually, that one's a scan out of a book. I think. I forgot where I got it. Um, where are my watercolor textures? Well, here's another. This is another interesting one. I might actually add that in. If I need a grit, to whatever I'm working on, I'll typically add that. So yeah, typically that's what I do with my textures. A good question. Thank you. What's this?
Yeah, Bonovich, that's fascinating. There's this whole like role that birds play in all kinds of myth, but that one is messed up. Let me see if I can find anything.
Which one? Share with the class. What's going on here?
Oh, so there's a bird that lives on the island of Buyan, I'm going to say. And it's a bird with iron claws and a copper beak. Or the other way around, iron beak, copper claws. And it flies around and messes some people up. But that also, the first thing I think of, yeah, exactly, Axis, Prometheus.
Is this on Wikipedia?
Well, Bonovich is typing it.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is in the book that she has? Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of the book?
Encyclopedia of Russian and Slavic Myth.
Yeah, Slavic myth and legend.
Yeah, everything's on Wikipedia.
Oh, cool.
There's nothing here. Sacred narrative. Let me see if I can find it here. Birds.
Oh man, I'm really actually interested in the Slavic aspect.
Yeah, Slavic myth is amazing.
I don't know anything about it.
The Slavs gave us like the awesome vampires from movies. Well, the Slavs, and actually, Eli, so did Rhode Island.
Oh, excuse me.
Mercy Brown.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing in here about birds. Why is that? Eli, do you start by doing line art, and do you do thumbnails digitally or traditionally?
I can. I wonder if I have something I can show you that will. Oh fuck! I didn't think I saved this properly. I may have just. Oh crap! I may have decimated all of the process on this piece. Um, 1 second. That's a good question. It really comes down to the piece. My early process is pretty organic, so it comes down to whatever I'm working in. So, um, let me find the piece I can tear up for you. Um, I'm happy to answer that question. So actually, I just did a Odysseus illustration I can tear down, which is, I guess, tonally relevant to what we're talking about today. Find this piece somewhere. My desktop is a hot mess. Sorry guys, this might take a second.
So, yeah, Bonovich, your knowledge sure exceeds mine. I can think of several interesting bird myths, but I can't find anything in the references that I have specifically about birds. But there's a bird of Ishtar, which appears in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Elysian, what's that? Oh, the Tengu, yeah. Well, the Tengu are like bird men, right? Yeah. I don't think it's Japanese, though. I think it's, I thought the Tengu were more East Asians. Tengu. Oh, yeah, look at that. Japanese folk tradition.
Alright, there's a whole other folder.
So Axes, the first time the Kenku. Well, the Kenku were crow men, whereas the Tengu are more like what are those birds that circle dying things?
Vulture.
Vulture. I couldn't get viper out of my head. Yeah, so there's a lot of bird stuff, but nothing in particular in my very modest library. Yeah, exactly, Elysian.
Alright, so on the screen there's an image of an ink drawing. Uh, this this drawing is all that the beginning was. Like, it was I had an idea and I just sat down and drew it.
And you did that physically, right?
Physically with a brush and ink. I don't tend to sketch or do thumbnails because there's a lot of energy lost in that process, and like the possibility to have happy accidents or uh, you know discover stuff, or just like the spontaneity of mark making that gets lost, in my opinion, from the thumbnail to the sketch. Some artists compensate by just uh, painting over their thumbnail to blow it up, and I've done that a couple times. But that lacks a measure of detail and, I think, the sophistication of drawing. So I tend to do my works either like this with the brush, in which I'm dealing with bigger straight shapes and brushstrokes, or with the line, in which case I'll paint in textures to help bulk it up if I need to. So I'll take you through this. There's not many very layers to this one. It's a very simplified sort of deal. I'm just really, the painting is about the eyeball. Okay, something screwy just happened here. Give me 1 second. There it is. I gotta get rid of some layers. That's pretty much it. It's the same process for my more substantial paintings, like yeah, actually, I can show you the beginning phase of a painting I'm doing for the new book, the new Angel Arian book. I could go through the whole painting's finished, but like it's across 4 files, so I don't want to that just take too long. But you can see it start from the line and then work its way up in values. Just give me one moment. Yeah, Elysian, it is an eyeball. If you, it's kind of looking down into the right. It's a giant eyeball. It's a Cyclops eyeball. The illustrations for is Odysseus and the Cyclops, uh, which is a neat little story. I save on TIFF because it's lossless. I don't have to worry about image quality. They're bigger files, sure, but even the PSD is lossy, which they don't want to tell you. So I don't fuck around with that. The only time I use PSD is if I'm using smart objects or something proprietary to Photoshop. Um, but TIFF is totally lossless. Did you always do this kind of style? No. I spent a lot of time after art school just kind of figuring out how I liked to make work. Um, not even that really. I mean, first I tried to figure out if I could make work in a style that would get me jobs, which was not the best way to find your style. um, and it took a few years to get to the point where I was just trying to figure out uh, how I liked to draw, and I finally found it, and yeah, I'm happy to. And now it's evolving from like the Angelarium stuff is probably close to as good a starting point as any, I guess. I mean, I'd already been doing it for a couple of years, but I think that was that stuff happened at a point where it was its most resolved, and then I've just been evolving from that point on. And I'm sorry this file is taking forever to open. It's massive.
That's what you get with lossless.
Yeah, but it's ultimately worth the wait for me anyway. You guys are going to be horribly disappointed because this part's very early in the process. Yeah, like flat files. Yeah. Yeah, this thing is taking really chugging along there. In the meantime, let's do another giveaway.
Yeah. You thought of one while you're out walking, right?
Yep, I did, but then I immediately forgot it.
Okay, so Ivanillo has been added to the list.
Excellent.
Let me check and see. Yep. Okay, so we got everybody.
Axis, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's really nice to hear. It's early on, and a lot of artists struggle with feeling like their work is appreciated, and always like hearing that my work is not, falling into the void. All right, so I'm gonna peel back these layers, and well, Bill puts a name.
Bonovich, I'm generic cleric, so I'm not part of the giveaway. So did you come up with?
Oh God, there's so many layers. No, I didn't come up with anything clever. I'm sorry. Oh God, it's still going. Okay. All right. So this is the drawing that started that painting. I'll bring up a very compressed JPEG of the final so you can see. So this is the final illustration, and and that's the drawing that's underneath this this painting. Uh, so typically, if I start with a line, the file is going to be a lot bigger because I have to. There's nothing in between those lines. I have to give it meat essentially in order to paint over it. So there's a texturing process that happens, and that's this file alone is just building up the texture for it. And I'll run you through the layers so you guys can see. And this is a very critical part of this technique because it gives me something to paint. It lets me interact with lighting, value structure, uh, tone, and temperature. It can refine the drawing, the actual silhouette of the drawing, so that it looks nicer, and fix anatomy stuff. You um, so this beginning part is very critical for me when I'm working in the line. If I'm working in ink with brushes, it it goes a little faster because like they're solid shapes, so it's already got meat. And I don't have to do a whole lot to really.
Eli, what do you mean by temperature?
The cool colors and warm colors. They tend to inform the
What's a cool color?
a cool color blue, hot colors red. Just like it sounds. There's nothing. It's not. I mean, if you haven't heard the term before, then yeah, I guess I get why you wouldn't know. But you know, the simplest way to put it is like a blue color or you know or a red color, which helps me figure out what's in the background, what's in the foreground. It lets me organize the planes of uh, of the figure or whatever it is I'm painting. Um, I kind of miss these little spiky dailies from that's not in the final. I don't know why I got rid of those.
So are we just going to randomly choose a winner?
Yeah, for now I'll try harder to come.
Fire X Rosser. Yay!
Do we got is Crosser in here?
Yep, he's Fire Crosser is talking about. That's exactly what I did, Elysian.
All right, so congratulations. Email me your mailing address and I will get it out to you. Congratulations. Excuse me, I just burped into the microphone. So yeah, so this is the first part. There are 3 more files just as large for this paint. Yeah, that's my painting process. This is more. It's like so. Like I have 2 modes, I guess. I bet there's like an app or something for rock paper scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, snake, Spock.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. So I have 2 modes with my style. One, the fantasy stuff tends to be a little more painterly nowadays, and the editorial stuff tends to be a little more graphic. I kind of like being on both sides of the fence there. Okay, so yeah, so big question. I'm sorry about the protracted answer, but I, you know, if you've been on this stream before, which you guys probably haven't, I can talk till I'm blue in the face about my process. Thank you, Ivanovich. I'm endeavoring to do more of the ink work. I haven't done a lot of it lately. I would like to, uh, I guess, kind of see what it looks like now, because like I've learned a lot since I was doing a lot of that stuff, and you know that influences stuff. I'm curious. So, actually, I'm supposed to be doing live drawing on Instagram tomorrow. Not too sure I'm gonna do it, but now I'm gonna do it. But Yeah. Oh yeah. Topi is a huge influence on my work. I mean, I carried around a Topi book in college like it was my Bible. Good eye, definitely. Yeah. Topi is absolutely in my DNA. Axis. Yeah. Color inks are cool. Man, FW makes a really good color ink. Um, but I have this weird like decision paralysis when it comes to that. I never know what color to work in, if I should work in multiple colors, and then it just becomes a painting, and I just get lost. Um, so, but the color inks are very cool. Topi used color inks very effectively.
What time is the Instagram?
I want to say I'd probably do it for around 5 p.m. when we started today. I think that's a pretty good time to start. But I would like to go to the gym at some point this week. So give me a second. No, a second. Um, let's say 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern time. I would be doing live drawing on Instagram. And provided I don't have as many screw ups as I did with this Twitch stream.
All right, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. Take care of some things that are happening over here.
Yeah, do what you gotta do, man.
I'm gonna tilt my camera up so nobody can see my pants.
Or lack thereof. We're weirdos. So I haven't been painting a whole lot on this. So part of the trickiness of my painting process is like it kind of like I thought I was close to finish when I started this, and I just keep finding other places to go. So we're just gonna kind of see what happens. Oh yeah, I remember. We got into the texture talk. I was supposed to be playing with textures. Oh, actually, I can show you guys a texture I made a long time ago that I really enjoy. This one right here. This thing is cold wax and pen and ink and acrylic paint, and it's like this like disgusting, delicious mess. And it's my favorite texture. And I keep saying I wake up every morning, go, you know what, today I'm gonna make more of those textures. You know, I get out my paint, my wax, and my pen and ink and my nibs, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be great. And then I'm like, oh man, wait, no, I gotta do updates for the Kickstarter, or my website, or whatever. Or I have to finish this illustration or this bit of story or whatever. And it never happens. But I love the way this texture came out. I'm happy to share it with you guys. If I'm late on looking at the computer for the chat, I apologize because I have Twitch on my iPad right now, so I'm not actually seeing it on my monitor. Getting a nice close-up of the texture. Look at that. You know the dimensions on that, like the smears and all that stuff, and then it gets like soft and transparent in there. I'm sorry, this is like why I got into art, was like this stuff. So what I'll do is I'll kind of set it through these layers, and I'll just kind of see what it does, and I'll flip it back and forth on invert. You know, like I mean, look at that. That's kind of neat. Just to see if something strikes out at me. Soft light is never a good idea. Makes it very insubstantial. Now I'll put it on difference. Fuss around with it. You know, I don't always get something out of it. Sometimes I do. Oh, look at that. I might have gotten my green back. That's something. Let's put it on divide, see what happens. These streams are usually 3 hours long. And we're about 15 minutes over. But I want to do a couple more giveaways. Honestly, we've got a few more books. So I might wait a bit. You know, I might stop painting because honestly, I'm a little tired. I've been at this all day, like I am every day, and And actually, I'm a little jealous of Bill. He's been able to interact with the chat a lot more than me and like read what you guys are saying a little more, a little more regularly. So I definitely want to like hang out. Um, uh, yeah, listen, yeah, yogurt. That's absolutely a good comparison to make. And like yogurt has great texture. You know, I might like smear some on a canvas and like, see if I can get something out of that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys saying that it's looking good. I always feel like paintings are in the ugly phase until they're finished. So it's like, um, right now this is a little too graphic. Like there's not a whole lot of like distinction of the body, and so I think it's gonna take a lot more sessions to work on. But you know, I'm it gives me something more to live stream. So I mean, I can't say when like this painting has to be done for the Kickstarter because it's going to be included as a reward at the uh, 70 and $125 level. At the $70 level, you can pick a print that you like. You can pick the most beautiful. We're going to stay in the theme of the Judgment of Paris. And the $125 level actually has all of the prints that are in its entire print collection. So this Hermit paintings needs to get finished. Bill's back, which is great, which means
Hi, everybody.
I can stop rambling like a fool.
No, I enjoyed it. I was in the kitchen.
Yeah. But so as far as the stream's concerned, we probably will call it once my girlfriend gets home. What's the toughest painting I ever had to draw, or longest? That is a very good question.
Centaur Mermaid.
Oh, that was not the toughest by a long shot. That was so much fun to do. So okay, we're gonna deviate from that question for a second so I can tell a story. Oh, Caldo, yeah, man. If you have to go now,
So next time we get together, we'll talk about Lovecraft. How's that, guys?
Yeah, that sounds good. Because there's gonna be a next time because this painting is not finished.
I'd like to try to do one of these a week throughout the campaign.
I'm fine with that. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Rest in peace, Adam West. Yeah. So next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, same place. We'll be here. We're gonna keep going we're gonna do another giveaway right now. I am going to. I like this scavenger hunt idea. I'm gonna find something for you guys to find, and so you guys can find it on the interwebs. I will. You will win. Everybody's eligible to play. Not everybody's eligible to win because some people have already won. That's not fair. Shoot.
Ivanillo.
Ivanillo.
Is Ivanillo still around?
Did you just draw a name?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You said not right now, so I did one right now.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Ivan. Oh man, he left the chat. He's not here. Oh wait, no, he is in the chat. Ivan is here. So let me, Ivan, say something in the chat so we know that you won. Gosh darn it. There you are. Ivan's there. Ivan, email me. Actually, I have your mailing address. Yeah, you just won. Congrats. Okay, awesome.
Maybe this will get Eli to finish your commission.
Hey. No promises.
I had to give him a computer to do it.
Oh man, maintenance is so bad for business. No, Ivan knows how long I take. He's a longtime customer and like compatriot collaborator. We actually streamed his last commission,
Oh.
which was pretty fun, and like he had a great idea for it. We did a kopu. Oh my god, I'm forgetting her name. It's ballerina, gorgeous woman, very talented, very good story too about her life and career. Um, so yeah, that was a good stream. That was fun. So yeah, again, congratulations. Okay, now I kind of just want to talk about this. Let's see here. It's always hard to finish commissions because of personal work. Yeah, that's a common problem for artists. I mean, that's true even like that's always the fight. You know, like you get paid and you get excited for getting that payment. You know, and you're just like, all right, great, I get to pay my electric bill today. Um, I get to pay my electric bill today. It's awesome, but shit, man, I have this really cool idea to do this painting of a mermaid with a flaming sword on a motorcycle, whatever it is. Um, and but then one of the lessons I got in school from a very very good teacher and a good friend of mine, Joe Teal, was you have to learn how to make those professional gigs, those commissions and whatnot, personal. And that actually became like the entirety of my process. Like learning how to internalize subject matter. Figure out how you fit with it. You know, and then it's easy to get excited because it's really just about you. You know, within the spectrum of this commission. And Missy Copeland. Yeah, not Copley. So yeah. It was. That it was a very valuable lesson. I still use it today, especially because I mean, like, I don't always want to work on stuff, as Bill knows, uh, But yeah. Fan art is tricky. That's a whole other animal because like you got like that requires having like a part of you like actually care about whatever the thing is. Like if you don't like Superman, you don't necessarily want to draw him. Um, not in the way that a Superman fan would want you to. Okay, so it sounds like we have 3 people still eligible for giveaways, which is awesome. Um, we're gonna have you guys fight to the death and live stream it, winner take all. How's that sound, Bill?
You want to give away all the books to one person?
No, no. Um, we'll do one more giveaway. Um, let me see.
We could just call it and do giveaways in the future for
Oh
future.
yeah, perfect. All right, you guys are fucked. No books for you. Oh my god, I love it. No, but we're gonna be back next week, same time, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Um, oh, I love the chat right now. Oh, that's so good. Oh, you guys are great. All right, no, okay, we'll do one more giveaway. We'll do one more giveaway, and you're gonna see my girlfriend in the background in a moment. And let's say, Bill, give them a bit of trivia, like. Uh,
Okay, who did I randomly determine was the winner? A bit of trivia.
Something related to the story, something because I mean
Okay.
everybody in here has a level of knowledge of this stuff. Like it seems.
Sure. Okay, so are you guys ready? I don't know how easy or hard this is going to be. Hermes invented the very first lyre out of what animal? Type, type, type.
You have 10 seconds or nobody wins.
10 seconds is enough time to find Wikipedia.
Seriously, guys. I'm so upset. I'm so disappointed right now. Oh, wait, they're on a 30-second delay. Hold on.
Oh. No, X is not a bull.
Not only are you disqualified, get out of my stream. You sicken me.
It's an honor. Nope. I'm waiting. Out of Zeus. So it was actually Apollo is the god of the lyre because of a problem that he had with Hermes, and Hermes gave him the instrument. Nobody's gonna Google it.
They're just like, no, fuck, dude, come on, we just want to watch the stream.
Oh, Axis.
Okay.
Yeah, Apollo, the sun god. No, he didn't make it out of Apollo.
Okay, all right. So maybe something a little easier, because honestly, I didn't know the answer to that one either.
That was as easy as I could think of. Okay.
Fine, Mr. Philosophy, dude. Come on. Come on.
What's the symbol of Hermes? You know that one. Nobody's gonna like it. Oh, Elysian. The answer is a turtle. Well, you weren't supposed to guess. You were supposed to know.
Oh man, this is we gotta make this a segment. It's like the last 5 minutes of the stream, and we just become total assholes.
Oh, I've always been an asshole in my heart.
Oh, true story. Okay, so. All right. Okay. I've got something. On my website, right? On my website.
Yes, Axes. There's a whole myth about it. It's amazing. You should go find it. It's a great story.
On my website, there is an illustration that references Heraclitus. Go. Tell me which illustration it is, and you win.
The road up, also the road down.
Bye, Caldo. I appreciate you coming in. Hope to see you next week. Congratulations on winning. Oh, Axis can't use the internet. Oh, shoot.
What's the name of my watermelon?
What's the name of his watermelon? Quick, somebody type it.
Elysian, you can't answer.
Axis, you've been here since the beginning.
Santiago. Oh no, Axis.
He wins! All right. Excellent. Axis, email me your mailing address, and we will get a copy of the prototype out to you. It's gonna take a little while because Bill and I have to get together so we can make sure they're signed by both of us, and we will mail it out shortly after. I would probably expect it to happen after the Kickstarter is over, just because things are kind of crazy right now. So please be patient. If you're worried if it got lost in the mail, you're definitely welcome to email me and just check on the status. I'm always happy to correspond. Desperate Trivia. Oh, that's the name of the segment right there.
Oh, we should do that at the end of our streams.
I'm so into that.
Desperate Trivia, something trivially easy to answer.
Yeah. That has to do with something that happened in the stream. I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, cool. guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you for coming. We're gonna call it a night. I'm gonna make an alternate James. Yes, I love it. Thus the religion begins. Um, yeah, again, thank you for coming in. I hope you enjoyed where the painting's at right now. We're going to finish it next week. Check out the Kickstarter. If you haven't already backed, consider it. There's a lot of cool stuff we're throwing in with the book. We've got potentially an announcement coming up on Friday, so at least stay tuned to the updates. We've got some stuff. We've got some surprises in store for the next few weeks. So stay tuned. You can follow me on, or actually, Bill, you're on Instagram too. On Instagram, I
you
am
can find 12 pictures.
on bad_king on Instagram, and Bill is generic cleric on Instagram. There you go. And like I said, check out the Kickstarter or join the mailing list on my website for updates, that kind of thing. If you have already backed the Kickstarter, thank you very much. We appreciate the support. Seriously, the book doesn't exist without you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you next week. All right, shutting it down.
Thanks, everybody.